It's common knowledge that the way you grew up affects how you function as an adult. Yet, most people aren't aware that it also affects how you act in romantic relationships. Hi, I'm Amir. For my project, I will be discussing how early attachment experiences shape attachment styles in romantic relationships in adulthood. Attachment is defined as a deep and enduring emotional bond between individuals, typically forming between infants and their primary caregivers, which shape emotional, social, and cognitive development through life. Basically, it affects how kids feel safe, handle stress, and build relationships later in life. Today I'll be talking about John Bowlby's theory of attachment, Erik Erikson's stages of development, Mary Ainsworth's attachment types, and Mary Main's disorganized attachment. John Bowlby was basically the father of attachment theory. His theory was, babies need a strong emotional bond with a caregiver for love, safety, and survival. He states that a strong bond helps a child feel secure, have confidence, and handle stress better. And a weak bond leads to child having anxiety, trust issues, and trouble with relationships later in life. Essentially, he is saying that in a scenario where a caregiver is loving and responsive, the child will feel secure. Whereas if the caregiver is distant and inconsistent, the child may feel unsafe. Erik Erikson's theory ties into Bowlby's. He talks about the stages of development, which is my personal favorite. He states that from ages 0 to 1, infants experience the stage of trust versus mistrust. At that age, the baby is learning if it can trust the things and people around it. Similar to Bowlby's theory, a good caregiver earns a baby's trust. A bad caregiver leads to mistrust, making the baby feel unsafe. Trust equals secure attachment. Mistrust equals insecure attachment. Then we have Ainsworth, who expands on Bowlby's theory in regards of the different attachment types in children. She created the experiment of documenting how the child reacts when the caregiver leaves it in the room and comes back after some time. She was able to differentiate 3 attachment styles this way. Starting with secure attachment, when the child is upset when the caregiver leaves but becomes happy when they return. This confirms the child trusts the caregiver. Then we have anxious attachment, when a clingy infant becomes very upset and distressed when the caregiver leaves and has a hard time calming down even when they come back. This shows the child is unsure when the caregiver would return. Lastly, we have avoidant attachment, which is when the baby couldn't care less the caregiver was once gone and came back. This shows the child learned to not rely on the caregiver. And finally, we have Main, who brought in Ainsworth's theory. She discovered disorganized attachment. This is when a child acts confused or inconsistent. They want comfort, but scared and untrustworthy of the caregiver, so they tend to pull away. This can be caused by fearful and abusive caregivers who may be comforting at the same time. After learning about the different attachment styles developed in early childhood, let's talk about how it may affect our attachment styles in romantic relationships. Those with secure attachment stemming from a consistent, loving, responsive caregiver tend to have trust in their partner, confidence in closeness and independence, better communication skills, and sympathy. Whereas those with anxious attachment, who grew up with an inconsistent caregiver, may act clingy or needy, have a fear of abandonment, constantly overthink, and need constant reassurance. Then we have adults who developed avoidant attachment, where they dealt with a distant or cold caregiver. They are more inclined to avoid emotional closeness, have a hard time opening up, build walls around others, and act very independent. Lastly, we have adults who grew up having an abusive, unpredictable caregiver, resulting in disorganized attachment. In relationships, they are likely to crave love while being afraid of it, have push-pull behaviors, and struggle with trust and emotional regulation. To summarize it, secure childhoods boost the probability of a healthy relationship, while insecure childhoods lead to a likelihood of relationship struggles. As many things in life, cultural dimensions have an effect on attachment styles as well. With something like gender norms, men are more likely to become avoidant as they are raised to hide their emotions to ensure having masculinity. Whereas women are encouraged to be emotional, leading them not to be afraid of showing anxious behaviors. In relationships, it may be one partner is avoidant and the other seeks closeness, increasing the chance of incompatibility. Socioeconomic status may also affect things. Growing up in a lower socioeconomic status environment and experiencing a caregiver who is constantly stressed and/or inconsistent higher a chance of anxious and disorganized attachment. In romantic relationships, it can cause difficulty trusting long-term security, reacting strongly to conflict, and fear of instability. Practically all the different cultural dimensions affect attachment style. However, the last one I'm going to discuss is cultural beliefs. Different cultures value different things. For example, individualistic cultures value independence, which may encourage avoidant traits, whereas collectivist cultures value things like closeness and family, encouraging anxious or secure traits. Having different beliefs in romantic relationships may cause misunderstandings, since one may expect independence whereas the other may expect constant closeness and support. The way you were raised develops your attachment style, but culture shapes how you express that attachment. If you're anything like me, you're thinking to yourself, I do that. It's not your fault. The first step is self-awareness. Ask yourself how you act in relationships, clingy, distant, or balanced. Be aware of your attachment style and understand how it came to be. It takes time and effort to change your unhealthy attachment style after coming to terms with the fact that you struggle with it. Some tips I would personally give is practicing healthy behavior, communication, and building trust over time. Fortunately, in adulthood, attachments are capable of changing, especially in couple relationships.